Call to order Board of Zoning Appeals for March 13th, 2023. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the February 27th meeting. So moved. Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Knoll. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Special request and continuances. Mr. Brown, are you out there?
I am, yes.
We were just discussing, you have a request to continue to March 27th. We still do not have a fifth member, so I just want to make sure that the 27th, also I recall the first Tuesday was preferable to you originally. So I want to make sure the March 27th is your request.
It is our request. Yes, our hope is that we may have some news to share with you at that point. And if we do, maybe we'll make for a brief consideration. If we do not, we may be requesting another continuance if we don't have that news to share at that time. So
Yep, that's fair enough. I will take a motion to move it to the 27th.
Chairman, motion that we move BZA 2022-046 and -047 continue to March the 27th, 2023.
Second by Mr. Knoll. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Both 046 and 047 from 2022 will move to the March 27th agenda.
thank you for your consideration. Appreciate it.
I should have asked Mr. Nelson, do we have a full agenda already?
We do have things on the agenda for that meeting. Hopefully hopefully the new information is brief. If we have a new member at that time, they could listen to the past meeting to catch up, but we do have, there's a little, okay. Oh, one's on hold, so there is some room.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I was a little late on asking that before we voted, but it's probably pertinent. Oh, and I will be out of state that day as well, so I guess I should confirm that all three of you are going to be able to attend on the 27th. Findings of fact, BZA 2022-003.
2023.
I'm all messed up. All right, BZA 2023-003, which was a development standards variance for Tim Crump for the property at 249 North Mass.
Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-003.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Next up is BZA 2023-004, development standards variance. Petitioner Thomas Vander Lutgaren on behalf of Sri Mangalamurti Inc. for the property located at 1281 South Park Drive.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-004.
Mr. King, second by Mr. Knoll. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Sure. Next up is BZA 2023-005, development standards variance. Petitioner Donald Wiggin for the property located at 602 North Gate Drive.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of facts as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-005.
Motion by Mr. Knoll, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. BZA 2023-007, a use variance for petitioners Jaden Feller and LaDonna Feller for the property located at 241 West Main Street.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of the statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2023-007.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Okay. We have no old business because both of the items were already continued. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business, which is BZA 2023-006, a development standard variance. Petitioner is William Niemeyer on behalf of Kovac Enterprises or Starbucks, requesting relief from the following two sections of the Unified Development Ordinance. Number one, to front elevation minimum transparency of 30%, and to allow that to be reduced to 0% on the Independence Drive frontage. And then the second is the front elevation minimum of 50% mortar masonry, and want to allow mortar masonry to be reduced to 42% on the Borsville Road frontage. All those wishing to present, please stand. Also, Mr. Nelson, are all the, is everything in order?
Yes, they're in order and in the file.
And Mr. Foster?
I move to admit to the record the certified copy of the Unified Development Ordinance.
All right. Is there anyone online speaking to this petition?
Mr. Niemeyer was gonna be on the Zoom, I think. If it's not, I can take care of it.
Yeah, it does not look like Mr. Niemeyer is out there.
I'm Marcel Torek.
Well, yep, let's have you sworn in by our secretary
Yes.
first.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes. All right, now name and address for the record.
My address,
Name and address, sorry.
Marcel Torek, Versatile Construction Group, 610, Suite 610, 570 East Tracy Road. We are the contractor and we did the blueprints for the job.
Okay,
And as was just stated, we could not meet the front due to Starbucks prototype, lacking 8% of the brick. And then in the rear, of course, it's two fronted streets, got two front streets, kitchens are in the rear. But we do have screening, as the plan shows, screening all the utilities in the rear of the building with a PVC 6-foot tall fence.
okay. And you're requesting relief on both those points. Do you have your statement of reasons for the statutory criteria in front of you by chance, your answers that were included in the planning report, the staff report? Okay. We do need to go through these for the record. And I can help start you, and then if you just want to read or give your answers here tonight. Before I guess I go, it looks like your responses were identical to the first two, and then slightly different on the third one. Is that correct? That your responses to the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community are identical?
Yes.
Okay, you want to go ahead and give us that response?
Okay. The unique location of the subject property creates two fronts satisfying.
No, for the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Number one.
Number one.
Number one. Proposed development and use is consistent. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because.
And then your response.
The proposed development and use is consistent with the intended use under the comprehensive plan and is consistent with the existing surrounding areas.
Okay, and then number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because.
The construction of the new Starbucks building will actually increase the value of the adjacent area.
And then for number three, for the transparency, the strict application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because.
The unique location of the subject property creates two fronts, satisfying the 30% transparency requirement in the rear is not possible because of the kitchen location of Starbucks is in the rear of their building, as typical to all restaurants.
Okay. And then the structure is not regulated under 8-10-10, 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. Specifically to the reduced masonry, 50% to 42%. Question number three, you had a slightly different answer because it was referencing the brick instead of the transparency. So number 3 for that, the strict application of terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because
Of the unique location of the subject property creates 2 fronts, satisfying the 30%.
wait, sorry, that was your answer for the transparency. But you had a different answer for the reduced.
Oh, and 3 on the bottom.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're answering
The
correctly.
unique
for you.
size and shape of the subject property prevents construction of a large enough building to provide 50% brick along the frontage of the building.
Anything else to add?
No, it's, we met all of the requirements, landscaping, which is like $100,000 for that site, so you won't see the building anyway.
Perfect. Staff, you had no issues. You want to, any comment?
No comment. He covered it well. It's a double frontage lot, which provides a hardship when you have 2 things need to meet that front elevation with a kitchen.
If I could add one thing, the new ordinances that you guys have adopted, all the drive-through restaurants that back up to Independence Drive and Phase 31, they all, none of them meet that criteria, but it was before this ordinance was enacted, and this is the last one there.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that point. Anything else? Anyone? There is one proposed addition from the staff. Thank you, Ms. Peters. That the final plan shall substantially conform to the site plan depicted in Exhibit C and building elevations depicted in Exhibit D. Are you familiar with that condition? And you're good with that?
Yeah.
No issues. Okay. In that case, I will close the public hearing. Mr. Mull,
No questions.
Mr. King, Ms. Peters.
No question.
I have no questions. I'll take a request to have the evidence submitted into the record.
Chairman, I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators, and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Ms. Peters, second by Mr. Mull. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Take a motion on request number 1 to reduce transparency from 30% to 0% on the Independence Drive front.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this request with the condition. Final plans shall substantially conform to the site plan depicted in Exhibit C and building elevations depicted in Exhibit D.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Mull. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Take a motion on request number 2, which is to reduce mortar masonry from 50% to 42% on the Worthville Road front.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this request with the previously stated conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Mull. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0 as well. Take a motion to direct the corporation's counsel to draft written findings of fact.
Mr. Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the corporation's counsel office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BZA 2023-006. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. Mull, second by Ms. Peters. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. We'll take final action in a couple weeks, but you're welcome to move forward and working with the staff and do what you need to do. Thank you so much. Any new business from the floor? Seeing none, any announcements?
None. We do have an agenda for next meeting. No announcements.
Foster?
Nothing corporation.
And then for my end, I will not be here on the 27th, so
Not allowed.
sorry.
Will you
be here virtually?
No, I will not. I will have very limited access. I might be on spring. So. It's adjourned.